long. Breathing in your love, on your touch. Oh, it's what I'm.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Today I will be talking about more jails and peace, or peace and more jails. I want to talk about the war that happened. They got a peace agreement now, but there was a particular individual that sat up there and died. There was a person who sat up there and was enslaved and became a slave, or as they say now, a person who's captured. Let's just take a look at what they said. Well, I'd rather do it like that. Okay. So we got woman dies overseas from strike attack right before the peace agreement. Oh, they're not shorting now. Hello, hello. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. So basically, there was a deal made, but there was a woman that sat up there and they said a strike, something came down. It was a strike, a type of war type material strike down, and she was there. She ended up dying, and I'm like, they even said, they were like, how is it that one person died from that? Was she Republican? You know, they call these slaves hostages now. They call these slaves hostages. That's a fancy word for slave. And it's just sad, man. It's just sad. So many people are trapped, and they getting raped, and they getting beaten, and they starving to death. At least we can say that in our prisons and jails, you get 3 meals a cot, clothing, new cleaning clothing, and you're good. They have psychiatrists and psychologists come out to see you. It's like you're living on cloud nine. You get the full metal treatment in jail. But wherever they are, where Hamas, Israel is, they don't want that. They don't want that. And that's just sad. That's sad. And also, when did the, like, Why did she die right at the moment they were gonna make it? They were extending it and extending it, and then they killed her. And or let me not say kill her. They sat up there and an airstrike missile came down on them, supposedly. But we will never know. Was she a Republican? You never know. I'm so glad to be in the United States of America because some stuff gets solved while others don't get solved unless I'm not famous. So, there's that one person that might just say, forget this. She's a cold case. I might sit up there and solve it for her. That's if anything were to happen to me. They'd be like, I want to figure out this cold case file. I don't wish death on me. And I don't deflect or reflect any death. I'm just using that as a joke, and I I got God by my side. I got God, you know, and that's what I do know. So now we need more jails. We need more jails and less black people who are innocent in jail. And what I mean by that is a lot of people feel like, and somewhat, it has to be a low percentage of people that are in jail that are African American that didn't do nothing wrong. Like you put a killer in a room. Wait, you put 10 killers in a room with no someone who doesn't kill. What do you got? God, my light is so bright. I wanted to just break down and say bright light, bright light. Let me turn this light down. Okay. So you put 10 killers in a room with a not a non-killer person. They don't have to act like a killer. They actually have to be a killer because it's their life against the killers. Jail does stuff to people. It scares you straight, or you it scares you straight, or you just don't want to deal with it no more. And that's me. I don't want to deal with it no more. It scared me straight. I don't want to deal with it no more. I don't like jail. I think that we do need more jails though. And the reason why I say that is because I believe that people can get extended stays at these jails. Right. At least 2 more buildings in Seattle. Going in and out of that population, 5 to 800, almost 2 to 3,000 people in that jail system isn't really working because y'all have to let them out. Y'all keep who y'all choosing. You know, I truly feel like, you know, more jails mean extended stays and less crime in the area. And that's what I'm trying to emphasize. I'm tired of crime. There were these girls that went into the mall. I think it was J.C. Penney or Macy's, and they had crowbars and they broke the glass and stole all the diamonds and everything and just walked out. That's the kind of bad that we don't need. this is an unaltered thing. So, we need to check the evidence. We need to go back and check the evidence for people that are not only African American, but Hispanic American and Caucasian white, and sit up there and get volunteer attorneys and get not only volunteer attorneys, but public defenders that spends tirelessly amounts of time looking up old cases. So you have your public defenders and your lawyers that spend tirelessly amount of time looking up old cases to see if they can get pardoned by the government because they had nothing to do with it. If new evidence turns up, that's what we need. You know, but if you really are fucking up and you know you don't have to, it don't have to be like that, you don't have to live like that, don't get mad at what I have to say. You know, I accept it, even though my situation was like I was under the influence of a totally mind altering drug that I didn't know what was in my system. Um, you know, even though I was I did the crime. I did the crime. The way the crime was the way the crime was done was not even in my style. I haven't hit anything, you know. Yeah. And I think people that can repetitively assault people or repetitively commit murder for a second time, like, how do you get out twice for murder? How do you get out, and how do you not go to jail? You know, my brother is in jail right now, but he told me he's done some harm to people, and it's been his own people, his own skin color. And he's gotten a get out of jail free card for his whole life. And he continuously did the wrong things. You gotta do the right things. I watched him go to jail, and I I've saved his life, so we're even. Like, he got shot, and I sat up there and I called 911 for him. I wasn't about to wake up. You know, I am so upset with the system to allow him to kill his own kind and then to get him for weird shit. He was even, racing against the law. I'm not saying I'm not a nigger hater. That's not what I am. But I don't like who some of us have become. I don't like how some of us have become. Like, we and then it goes like, I didn't do nothing wrong, but then tell somebody a totally different story. You know, that's sad. You're telling me you killed before, and you can't go because that's double jeopardy. You can't go back and check it. This was scattered out in different places. He always, I don't know, man. I was taught to not say nothing and shut the fuck up, and I did be quiet. But now I'm speaking. That's why I want to be into the government. My main goal is to be into the government so that I can enforce laws or enforce, put it up for to be enforced and keep stuff going, where people can take a recognition of it, of what my black people go through, you know, and now his children are suffering. They're never gonna know what it's like to, do things that they really want to do. Like my mother always used to tell him, you need to go to the Air Force. And he always used to call her the B word, shut the up. Like disrespectful as you want to be. So why can't I be disrespectful towards him and say, what I'm saying, which is the truth? Like I just can't imagine, man. That's why we need more jails. He learned very quickly that, you know, he's the one's bitch, and he went to a low secure facility. He went to a low secure facility, even though I just, I'll advocate. I'll advocate as much as I can. I'll advocate because people like him aren't going to change, unfortunately, especially when they used and made methamphetamine, something that got me in trouble. Somebody put it in my tincture. And I promise to God, I can walk and look God dead in his one eye or two eyes that I was not on that shit purposefully. I didn't even know it was in there. I put two and two together. I put two and two together. Sleep deprivation. I'll admit I was on medicinal marijuana and whatever was in my tincture, which I believe was methamphetamine. And then the assault happened. I've never assaulted nobody in my life. I don't like to fight. I hate to fight. I think it's stupid. Unless you're a fighter like Mike Tyson, fighting is stupid. You'll land in jail. I used to get beat up. I would never dream, and I'm glad I paid off my restitution to that lady that I assaulted. I take ownership for that because you can't even prove it. Not in that way, but you can't even prove that you you can't even prove that you you sat up there, and I don't know what made me say that, but I'll put it to you like this. I know it was some extra, something extra in my system that morning. I know, hand on God, hand on the invisible Bible. I can't prove it though. I can't prove it. I was not in my right mind the whole time. It's sad what people do just to see somebody behavior change. You know, people play pranks on people all the time. And who knows, shelters may be putting it, you know, in the sugar, putting it in different things, putting it in the food. Who knows? These shelters are crooked as is a crooked back. I always been against methamphetamine. Always. And yet people seem to find their way around me with that shit. And I don't want it. I don't go to the hood to find crack or heroin or fentanyl. I don't do that. I don't, that ain't my forte. I know how to find the hood if need be. I know how to find drugs if need be. And I'm not interested in no drugs. If I was the lion, I would be right back on the same drug that landed me in jail. I want to see this world, starting with the city of Seattle. They did do something. Hold on. What did they do? I'm thinking they put more police on the force. I'm like, they're listening. They're listening. They put more police. Yes. Because you never know. You may need them one day. You know, you got a man that somebody told me, I forgot his name, but they told me that a man got stabbed, sprayed with mace and stabbed. I'm like, what is going on? This is who we have out in our streets. There need to be a you know, this is what mental people need to be in mental institutions for good. The man died. I I don't know, man. You go looking for trouble, you find trouble. You go looking for trouble, you find trouble. Right? Go looking for trouble, you find trouble. I never go looking for trouble. I just look to tell the truth. I don't hold anybody up to a high standard. I didn't have a family life. I didn't have a family life. If you were to sit up there and have imagination, you were told to shut the fuck up. If you even started talking good, saying, "Hey, look at that. That's so cute." Shut up. Like that's dysfunctional. But I'm not saying that I'm a dysfunctional person. I've been around dysfunctional situations and I don't like it. I don't like it. Think about people who lives people took out of people lives that how many lives my brother took from people families. I don't hate him, but I think it's not going to change. Whole career, man. whole career. If you even have points of views like like I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. I just know that I left them all alone because their views, one likes to randomly beat you up because she think it's cute. She think it's cute for them to talk about for years. Remember when you beat up Kimmy? You know, like, who cares? One likes to beat people up randomly. Really think I'm going to see her one day. I was thinking about it, but after I seen the way it all went down, I was like, no, no, nobody's changed. Nobody's going to change or whatever. I don't care. Did you think about my feelings when you were beating me up? That's what I asked myself. It's not funny to be beat up either. That's a bitch thing to do. Now that is a bitch thing to do where you are pummeling somebody and they're not fighting you back. They're not fighting you back because they don't want to fight. So, with that being said, you have people like that that deserve to be in jail. So, it is, I ask myself this. My family relationship has nothing to do with other families. And I was watching this 48 hours, I think, and they were talking about how this dude brother died before him. The people who were shooting at the brother that died, they knew that the brother had died, and they still didn't care because of who he was with in the car with. They still shot up the car. There are people that do deserve to be in jail, and there are people that don't deserve to be in jail. People that was well educated and didn't molest or didn't kill nobody. Sorry. So yeah, and they're in jail fighting for their innocence, saying that they're innocent till today, just stating that they're innocent. There are some Hispanic that people that was at the wrong place at the wrong time. There's some white people that was at the wrong place at the wrong time. But what about those who gives us a bad rap? What about those who gives us a bad rap? They're the reason why 20, maybe 45% of the black population gets pulled over today because they are doing something fucked up in their car. They deserve an apology from you. They deserve an apology from those people who makes hard-earned living black people have it bad. Hard-earned living black people who makes a living and gets paid on a regular, like, and want to see good be done. Now, organized crime is another thing because organized crime is tricky. Organized crime is very, very, very tricky Because are you killing for good or are you killing for bad? Are you killing for good or are you killing for bad? You know, what do you think God would want you in the afterlife or a rebirth or reincarnation if you killed people repeatedly and the only person that knows is you and God? That has to eat somebody up. And that's why they end up telling on themselves. And it's just sad. I'm I have some hiccups in my life, but I can explain my stories. I can explain my stories to God. Nobody else deserves to hear it. The whole Kimberly Cloud Show story. It will be immediately dismissed as loony or crazy, you know. And my story, I know what happened. I know what happened. And if it wasn't for my lovely sister and brother, I would still have my kids today. They played a part in my kids being out of my world too. They all did, you know, in their own ways. And if I thank y'all, I thank y'all. I hate the fact that my children are away. I put that 100% hands down, but I wouldn't be as independent as I am today. I would be dependent on some bumpkin that don't have it all up, the marbles all up there, only want to drink and do drugs or play games. Like there's more to life than that. So I don't care no more. You got what you wanted, and I ended up with going in on February 12th for my doctoral degree. My doctoral degree. I am actually taking a doctoral class. Whether I pass it or not, I made it to doctoral. I was nowhere near that with any of my husbands. Nowhere near that. It was always something going on. That's why this is my documentary, and I have to say, this is why I sat up there and I talk about what's going on, because I know we do need more jails. We do need more security guards because we don't need repeat offenders off of the street that's doing major crimes. They're no rape, repeated rape offenders, repeated molesters, repeated murderers, repeated assaulters in a fourth degree. I've just seen it. Now that I know the crimes, I never used to listen to it. You want to talk about Joseph, how his family threw him down in a tunnel and sold him to the government for 40 pounds or something. Like, my brother was the major one talking to my mother-in-laws about what I was doing. He brought he brought people to my house that shouldn't even have been there. Like he slept with I'm gonna tell you this. He slept with a child protective services worker, told her about me, like his version of what it was about me, and dumped her. Like, what? Because she was too tall. what about me? He told, I can say it. I wasn't, once I got pregnant with my second son, I wasn't doing any drugs. I never did drugs with my kids. And he used to put me in these dangerous situations because I was in the military at the time. And he put cocaine in the microwave, and I put a bear patty in there. Afterwards, I didn't know he was cooking it or in the microwave, and sat up there, and it got ingested. The next day, or yeah, the next day, and it's the God honest truth. And like I said, these are things that some white people and some black people won't be able to understand. When your brother that's supposed to love you is so geeked off of drugs that he takes your 2-year-old and he throws it up at the fan while my NCO is there, is wrong. He made me look like a bad parent, but I wasn't. I gave him a chance and had him live with me. Had I not had him live with me, I would have been doing good. I should have just sat up there and had a babysitter, paid for a babysitter. I went and I all the way to North Carolina. I drove 12 hours all the way to North Carolina in my Ford Focus in 2004 to go get him. To go get him. That I have to go.
Never waste my time.